Friday night, I had one of those moments where I almost wasn't obedient to God. And I was telling myself, it's something small, that it's not going to matter. But I decided to stay obedient, and God blessed me for doing it. This is going to be good. Keep listening. So right now, my church and I are in the middle of a 21 days of prayer and fasting. Now, most people, they fast by giving up in an area of food. I usually eliminate in an area that I feel I'm giving way too much of my time to that could be given to God. So for this year, what I'm giving up is TV. This might not sound too difficult to some of you, but for me, trust me, I spend way too much time watching TV. I have a routine of weekly things that I like to watch. Now for my fast though, I'm still able to watch something that has to do with God, like sermons, faith-based movies. So Friday night, I'm sitting there. One of my favorite things to watch is coming on TV. Now don't laugh, but it's called Friday Night SmackDown. For those of you who still don't know what that is, WWE wrestling. Now they just had a big event on the 1st, and I was wanting to play catch up, see what's going to happen next, And I know when the fasting is over on the 23rd of January that I could easily get caught up on what's going on, because to me, wrestling is kind of like the man's version of a soap opera. I mean, they will replay everything to death until you can play catch up easily. I'm sitting there Friday, I'm looking at the TV guide, I'm wanting to click the controller to WWE, telling myself one show is not going to hurt anything. It's just 2 hours of my time. But then I started thinking how important it is to stay the course, to continue to use this time, to stay connected with God without any distractions. Now, I don't know if you ever heard a sermon and you're listening and you just know that the message was meant for you to hear. Well, the path that I took Friday was so eye-opening and revealing that I was just sitting there in awe, full of thanks of what God was showing me. Now, I started out on PureFlix, which is kind of like Netflix, but Christian-based. And I started watching a Sam Collier interview with my Pastor Michael Todd. It was a 2018 interview where Mike was sharing how he went from music to pastor. I wanted to hear more, so I did a search on YouTube. I found Pastor Rich Wilkerson Jr. speaking with Pastor Mike. It's from 3 years ago, and it was called The Whole Story, which continued to just stir up my faith listening to the journey that Mike has been on. I finally landed on a conference from 2019 with Pastor Rich, Mike, and Chad called Scared But Prepared. I'll leave a link down in the description. So God showed me the calling that he had on my life back in 2014. And as some of you know, it wasn't until 2017 that I finally started to accepting and believing what he had shown me. We are now almost 5 years later since I have been full on board. And there has been many times along the way where I've been nervous with what I've been shown to do or asked to do. There's many, many times where I'm just sitting, trying to understand the path, or what's next, where am I to go? So many questions. So listening to how Mike talks about going from never speaking in front of people, no formal education and ministry, to where he is, he says he's scared every day because he knows who he is without God. But that's what keeps him dependent on God. Oh, that's so good. Rich talked about staying faithful in pursuit of God's calling and how God's opportunities are presented to you full of obstacles and challenges, which I have definitely learned on this journey that I have been on. He talks about how that we have to patiently pursue the things of God and let him prepare in us the things that we're we're going to need, so that the day that when he does call on us, we will be ready. Sometimes we want to rush things. We want it to go at our own pace. But what really had me reflecting on my experience is when Mike was speaking on going at a pace where he doesn't elevate himself, but letting God elevate him. He covers many things in this area that just opened my eyes to some of the experiences that I've been going through and answered so many of the questions that I was having on this journey. After watching all 3 videos, I knew that God has me right where he wants me to be, and that he will continue to open the doors when he knows that I am ready for what is on the other side of those doors. But you know what? I could have been watching wrestling. How close I was to just doing what Keith wanted to do again. But instead, I was blessed with many of the questions I've been having being answered because of my obedience. Listen, the more you live for him, I believe the more he will reveal to you and trust in you. So this is not just a saying, it's a fact. God is good. So I wasn't planning on doing a video, but I was so moved by Friday night how I almost missed out on such a blessing. And I feel like it was a blessing because of the fact that I was considering doing my own thing. And since I was obedient, I was blessed. So I just wanted to share that with you. I hope that it's encouraging. And as always, I want to say thank you, each and every one of you who takes the time to watch my videos. And until next time, as always, God bless.